Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to PMNC Kenya Final Showdown. But you know what? This is by dead those esports. These guys are coming in hot. They want to take PMNC and finally PMGO by storm. And just lock in, get those popcorns because today the best teams in Kenya are going to be clashing for a chance of being the best in the business. But my name is the PTK Young Blood. But don't before about the name, I am not the Yamba. I am the man himself, the man Young Blood. 5 maps to be played today. I'm quite happy at these because it's going to be hot. And this is the map system where we're going to be starting off with the Rondo, the land of the recalls and the green pastures. Then Erangel, one of the best maps in the game. Then you're having that double dose of Miramar. Then finally that Erangel game. So 5 maps for these teams, the best in Kenya, to prove their worth, to prove that PMGO is no longer a dream. It's for them, and they have to do it. They have to make sure they have. Bro, I want to see these guys representing us good. So these PMNC Kenya Final Showdown by Dead Those. This is one of the best litmus tests to be able to test them. Rescue Esports on the front line. We have the Horn Legends, Brutal Cycles, ITE. I know I have to talk about the Rescue Esports. I've seen Spiky Bars. These guys have been doing a lot. They've been coming all in. Also, the Horn Legends, quite incredible. We also have the men of the hour who are the Dead Those with Glitzy, Sisema. We have Glitched and William. The last time that I was casting at that PMNC Kenya group stage, I think Glitzy, that was the main guy for the Dead Those. And hopefully today he can be able to clutch it out. I remember the final fight between the Dead Those and BPX, a 4v3, but the Dead Those were able to clutch it and take that chicken dinner. That was amazing. Hopefully today we are going to be seeing something of the sort. We have the in-game leaders where that man 33K lethal in all aspects. The Rush team is also there. Jogo, another key aspect of that team. Call me. These are the final day sensation for the PMNC. They came in clutch and they got to that top spot and execute one of the best teams from the Kenyan region. It's also around the 5SW, not forgetting the Alpha Base, and finally the Clutch Gods. I've seen the Clutch Gods and I remember one thing. There was a fight that was happening between, that was Clutch Gods and what was the other team? I don't even remember the other team very, very well, but that was an amazing fight by the Clutch Goals where Rocky was able to rock up the lobby and ultimately get that chicken dinner for his team. And let's get to the game. The first game of the evening, which is Rondo. And that is a very, very clean plain path. Cutting through like a katana. Very, very sharp. But all these teams, we have to know which team is sharp enough to take that chicken dinner. Eliminations are quite important. Those placement points are quite important, and these is a very, very good test for them to be preparing for tomorrow's games. Rondo, recalls are quite good, and most of the times I've seen the Rondo game is normally fast. PMNC, that is the first map that begins the show. But the worst thing about a two-plane path, the Rondo, is that you may get to the test track thinking that you're the first team, then you find another team came from that eastern or western part, and then you get battered and bruised because of that slight error or misunderstanding of the plane path. And the first one already shifting, and we are going to be going to that western part, but we have to concentrate on the fights. And when it comes to Rondo, most of these teams, most of these players, they have one mentality. Get as many eliminations as you can before that recall is over. After that, you can try to secure those placement points. So the team that will be dominating in terms of eliminations, maybe let's say they get 10 eliminations, those placement points, they normally come easy. Although the lobby is not easy, that is what happens most of these times. And don't forget, if you are watching, like the stream and let's continue pushing as the fast fights are happening in that racetrack where they call me Pew Pew, the first person to lay his hands on these players. And that is quite good. Clutch Goals trying to clutch, but the remains, unfortunately, those Williams was fair. And Williams, that good player from the Dead Those, the man that have been setting the pace for the Death Those esports. Unfortunately, the Clutch Gods able to clutch him out and take him back to the lobby. That is Sato. And the Clutch God, these guys, that is not just the name. Like Clutch Gods, no, that is not just a name. That is a statement. And as you have seen, the Clutch Gods, they took William down, although it's just a man apiece. They lost 2 people, but they were able to stay in the game. And already Call Me in the front line with 3 eliminations already. But they need to get that recall. Call Me Probox, he has to set his pace. He has to go try to recall, because Call Me Pew Pew in a very, very heated fight. And on the other end, we see those fights, BPX, Ashishaki. So Rondo is very, very heated at the first minute. So most of the fights will not be able to see that tension. But for the ones that we are able to see, the action unfold as Relentless is down. And we have the Clutch Gods still fighting on that end and still trying to survive as much as they can. As Relentless are also trying to push the NGX, who also are a very, very good team. But making it to the final showdown, that means that you are already a good team. It's just that mentality. You need to show us that you really, really want it more, as everyone around is doing their best to be able to secure those eliminations, those placement points as fast as they can. The zone will be shrinking, and we will be heading to that stage number 2. And the One Tick Esports, I think that is the first time that we are seeing them on our screens. They have to choose what they are going to be taking, but still with 0 eliminations. The team that is currently dominating is the Call Me with 4 eliminations already. Death Those are the number 2 with the 2 eliminations, but these will be quite a ruckus for the Rescue Esports No Life, with currently No Life from the back, taking those shots like a man. But the Rush Army making the push, this will be a very, very hard situation, caught in between a rock and a hard place. And the Rush Army is able to convert that elimination. Arnie is one of the youngest players around. The last I checked, the man, I don't know, I can't call him the boy because he's playing with the men. He was at, I think it was 11 or 12 years old. And being the youngest player at this age, playing competitive, this is something that I myself cannot even dare to do, but Arnie has been able to do it, being the youngest and doing great things. I think that guy has a lot of future in his hands. And if Rush is able to take this home, that would be a very, very big plus on his career as an esports player. One Tick Esports, ITE Mbuzi, trying to get that revive as Saint is sent down packing. But there's a chance for getting that revive, and Mbuzi does go for it. And the zone are still very, very friendly, as teams are trying to get to that play zone as soon as they can, and are relentlessly trying to get as many eliminations. You cannot have both. You either have the eliminations and no zone, or have the zone and no eliminations. And already grenade elimination dominations for the XS Chaser, as he's chasing down the players. Rashani also with the ITE. Oh my word, what is with this Rashani? That young guy, I don't know, but I have to keep talking about the Rashani. Very, very good at what he does. And he's still clutching, he's still getting those eliminations. But the players will be considering taking the play zone at the moment, because Neofax Factory is not that best spot right now, infested with a lot of players, but no zone to that end, as the Alpha Base AP Gun trying to get those cooks on the nades, trying to fight against the Death Those. Death Those has been good, but glitching out of the game and taken back to the lobby. AP Mike, also receiving the same kind of harsh treatment as they gave Glitch. But Glitch is still down. They have not made that finish. Those William with the S12K in hand goes for the push. And the Alpha Base have an answer to that. Basema, they are doing their best to take down that Alpha Base team. But the Alpha Base are so relentless, as the circle will be closing in 20 seconds. Death Those are still very, very strong as they get another knock. They have the upper hand. They just have to make that finish. A 2v4 situation. Those William, oh my word. Quite a very, very good shot from that rooftop. And the Alpha Base AP, one of the few players remaining and fighting against these Destos team. And these will be a very, very hard hurdle for him as he's trying to put Alpha Base in these. But Alpha Base still believe that they can be able to survive. They still believe that they can do these 1v4. But I don't know if that is far-fetched or he's be able to do what he wants to do. And the Alpha Base AP, the final player, surviving death. Those already 5 eliminations. The game is looking pretty much square. But the players, they are just coming all in. You know, for these kinds of games, you just have to find that confidence, get the confidence, and you will have that added advantage. You know, but confidence without players, that is not going to work on your end. But we've seen players do 1v4, we've seen players do 1v3s, clutch it out, and ultimately win the game. Solos have won games, but squads, they win hearts. And AP, the final player, this man is receiving the harsh treatment as those William is leading that squad and is trying to lead the army back to stardom. AP burning down and it smells like fire. AP, Alpha Base. This might be the end as nades are getting cooked by Glitch. They won the Alpha Base AP. And a quick thought, a quick shift in that building. That might be his saving spot, his saving grace. But the man is still trying. The man is still attempting. You know, kudos to him because a 1v4 is pretty hard. And even having the composure of holding a 4-man team is a pretty insane. But for the Alpha Base team, the end was nigh with 0 eliminations and being the first team to be eliminated. Sorry, being the second team because Execute is not there. So that probably is the first team. But Alpha Base have just made their doom. And the Horn Legends, they have a lot of questions. The Horn Legends, they won this Call Me team who are currently leading while we are starting the game, but unfortunately not so right now as Rush is leading the squad. ITE, they are also trying their best as the IGS are also caught in quite a ruckus, quite a crosshair. All of them are trying their best as Dynamo is trying to cook up that nade for the Horn Legends. But Dynamo, oh my word, that is one of the worst nades ever. Perfectly cooked for Dynamo himself. And Aggressor with the S12K is trying to get the Call Me player and Call Me called back to the lobby as Aggressor is trying to cook up, trying to get Dynamo back in the game. Call Me Probox. A call to life. And the Arsenal No Life taken back to the game, taken back to the lobby. Call Me Probox is quite insane. Clean shots, clean strikes, but unfortunately that was not it. Call Me, although they got the 6 eliminations, they have been called back to the lobby very early. And that will be a disappointing turn for them. And looking at that safe zone, heading towards at the southern side of Jiaoting, the Rush Esports having most of the parts of the play zone towards themselves. The NGX are trying to approach from the western side. We also have the ITEs from the south side. Rush Rescues are taking the eastern end. But the game is still nigh. You know, it's pretty early to judge which team is going to be dominating. You know, we have 5 games to be played. And every single team Ladies and gentlemen, I think we are back. Technology fails us so much. We are back in the game. At least we can be able to see who will be taking these home. You have the brutal cycles. They almost have a full score, but Edok's down. Vaughn is down on his knees with 4 eliminations. Brutal cycles are 21% a win rate, and all the odds are stacked towards that Death Those team with 33% of winning the game. I'm not even sure if they will be able to clutch it, but they have the manpower. They have the utilities, they have the loot. It's just upon them to find the right timing to take that chicken dinner home. As those Sema are trying to say a word with the 3 eliminations, and that is quite crazy. Those have been farming a lot of eliminations already at double digits. We've seen fights between the BPX and the Those. The last time Those was able to win against the BPX, but at the moment I think the BPX also have a chance of taking this home, as they are making a rotation towards that is the eastern part, trying to get the Those from behind. And with only 4 teams remaining, Those Sema is down. Those Glitch are taken down. Oh my word, Rush TLGTN is just insane. Although they won the fight, they almost lost all the players. Those with only 2 players on their feet. But look at that spray goal. Like, oh my word, BPX Viper will not be striking anyone. He will not be viping anything. And the Those just got the revive, and they are back to full score. They are back to full send. BPX, they have to find another angle. If they are to stay in the fight, they have to find another angle, because the the nades will be flying in just a few seconds, as the One Take Esports are trying to stay still in the fight. One Take Esports Skoda trying to scope in on Sema. And those blocks that fall from the ground, let's call them the stumbling blocks. I think that is one of the best things. You know, I talked about it first in the early stages of the game, and I think they should include such apparatus when it comes to Erangel. Just imagine if Erangel had all these kind of stuff, how will you be? I think that would be one of the best maps ever. If Erangel had all these graphics, all these parameters that Rondo has, that would be quite insane. But the BPX reduced to 2 men. BPX Vaughn has to be careful, because the iTech Esports, they are letting them have it. BPX Vaughn very, very low, as the One Tech Esports are trying to soften that man up. Those are coming for that party. iTech Skoda just secured that eliminations. But Williams will be trying something new, but Skoda is there. What are you trying, man? Let me take you back to the lobby. Go back, reset, and then come back stronger. iTech Esports, they are taking these personally, as Vaughn is trying to usher that nade in, and that is a perfect nade. Vaughn does take one of the One Tech Esports player down, but the brutal cycles are brutally eliminated. Psychotic nature, but that is just not enough, as the Those with only 1 man remaining. Those Glitch, it is a 2v1 situation, and the odds are stacked towards the One Tech Esports, and Glitch, he has to find a new way to approach the fight if he is to win this game. You know, they have that water body separating the 2 teams. Those Glitch does not have the perfect angle. The zone will be coming to his end, and they do spot him. I take Morita. These might be the strike that sets the pace. Glitch trying to glitch in, but this is a perfect strike, a perfect game for the One Tech Esports, as they take the game by storm. First game, Rondo, and guess what? One Tech, they just took it, and a perfect smelly sweet chicken dinner comes on the ways of the One Tech Esports. Quite a GG's, as they cruise through and take the game by storm. Well, GG's, guys. And if you're watching the stream, don't forget, write in the comment section which team you think is going to be winning today's games. You know, 5 games and 5 chances for you to prove that you are the beast, you are the OG. And for the match number 1, One Take were the OGs. OP gameplay. It's a numbers game, and they definitely had the numbers. And Skoda with the most eliminations. Crazy. He got 8 eliminations. We also had Morife Dintran, 5 eliminations. We have Lukang with the one, Saint with that one elimination. That was quite some numbers when it comes to the eliminations, because that is 8, 9, 10, 15 eliminations for the winner chicken dinner team. That is a total of 25 points. One tick was awesome. Dead Those was awesome, but the chicken dinner went to the one tick. But looking at the head to head, it is quite wanting. Dead Those, they go 17 eliminations. We had the one tick with 15. Dead Those took that. In terms of damage, 2,800 damage for the Dead Those. How they didn't take the chicken dinner, I just know. But they were also healing a lot. So, taking those fights, inflicting all those damage, that's what making them heal up as much as they could in that game. And for the match MVP, none other than the man himself from the One Take Esports, the I Take a Skoda with 8 eliminations, 6 total knocks. So 2 eliminations have just been stolen with 1,000 damage. That was quite a game. And that was insane. First match, and we are already seeing these things. What about the final game? Skoda was the top player with the most eliminations. Glitch was epic. He also had the 7. We had the Rush Arnu, very, very young with the 5 eliminations. Dose Williams, 5 elimination. And then we have from the RC, sorry, Wook Xiang Nung. You guys have some very, very, can I say unique names? Unique, specific. Wung Xiang Nung. If you're watching the stream, please help me read this name because I definitely don't understand, man. But the stats, they just explain it all. And the game number 1, Rondo, these are the match rankings. One Take Esports with the most points, grabbing that chicken dinner, and the 15 eliminations sets them right on top of the table. 25 points. Those following closely with the 23. Then the Rush Esports are taking the 13. Brutal Cycles, Vaughn was the last player, a very, very perfect nade, though, the Dead Those was there. That's why Vaughn was not able to even survive because he was caught between the Dead Those and the One Take Esports. For the 4 pockets full, I think they're having one heck of a game, full of shots in their pockets. All the shots were raining towards their end. Alpha Base, we saw them get eliminated. And I believe maybe in the second game, they might be showing us something new, but I don't know. It's just upon them. In-game leaders, relentless, clutch goals. They didn't do much because the teams are from the number 5 to the number 16, not even managing to get at least 10 points. Crazy, man. This is a PMNC Kenya showdown. Tomorrow we are having the finals, and I just can't wait to see how these teams will be doing it tomorrow. And this is crazy, man. Don't forget, follow, subscribe, Dead Those Esports on the Instagram platform as we continue to give you these awesome game, these awesome show. That was just but our first game. Second game coming in just a few seconds. So don't change the dial. We're coming back in a very, very short break. Welcome back, guys. As I told you, we are only going to take short breaks because we have to maintain the hype of the tournament. We have to maintain the tension. We have to maintain the game. Game number one is so one take esports taking a game, bro. I don't know. Those they had the numbers. We saw a full squad in towards that final stretch. But one take esports, they had the duo and they were able to clinch the chicken dinner. And for the second map of the evening, with a very, very crisscross plane path moving towards that western part of Zaki, the northwestern part, all the way from Milta Power. And most of these places, I think the best place for these teams might be the Nova Power area because the zone might be shifting towards that end. Maybe take a little bit of Yasna, Poliana. I don't see a lot of teams taking that Pochinki area. I don't know why, because I was expecting, because we have big teams. Most of these teams will be taking Pochinki and trying to get as many eliminations as they can in that area. But Erangel is different. Erangel is for the OGs. If you don't know how to play in Pochinki, if you don't know the whole of Pochinki, even though you're a very, very good player, will be very, very hard to point where these players are, and it will be very, very hard for you to even survive. And the difference between the game number one and the game number two is that Rondo had that recall system. When it comes to Erangel, Erangel does not have the recall system. So Erangel is OG. With one life, you have to prove that you have it all for you to be able to survive and ultimately be that leader when it comes to Erangel. And the chicken is very, very sweet, as we just saw. And already five breaking loose, players trying their best, and that's a GG's. Already a team has been eliminated quite early this game. But anyway, that is what happens when you join as a solo. You become so low, and they ensure that you are back in the lobby within seconds of you joining. And for everyone that is watching, don't forget to write in the comment section which team you think will be taking these PMNC final showdown. And this is by Those Esports. And this is the game number 2, Erangel. After this, we are having that double dose of Miramar. And the clutch god Sato still clutching. He was one of the few players to get the first elimination in the previous game. And already, right now, he's able to clinch an elimination quite early in the game. So his intention set clear. And they all know what this guy is bringing to the table. Yeah, he's bringing the fight. And a boatyard might be good for them, but I think they might have some trouble. So they need to find the vehicles, try to make the shift maybe all towards that Rozok area. The Rozok Hill is one of the best spots for these teams. If one team can be able to secure the spot, dominate, try to hold as much as they can, that would be their safe haven. And the circle already closing in just a few seconds. So we might be seeing a lot of fights unfolding as the farm area with only one team, which is relentless. And the fights at that Boyard. We're talking about Boyard. I remember we didn't have these Boyard. We had the Water Town. And then they updated it to these Boatyard. And Boatyard with a lot of loot, with a lot of cover. And one of the best places if you are an esports player or an esports team trying to survive in this game. But you also have to play it carefully, because look at the angles that are being taken as Kazuma is also taking shots from this end. Moody almost in the mood of the CG3s, but the CG3s are still in the game as Glitch taking the Jojo Pool area. They didn't get the chicken dinner, and in this game I think they'll be trying a little bit something new. And see, they try and see if they can be able to get something, maybe the chicken, maybe some good points if they are to stay at the lead. With 23 points, they are not at a very, very bad spots. In-game leader, 33K. I talk about 33K, in the early stages when we were talking about the team, we saw 33K. And this is one of the most impactful players from that IGL team. We also see Jamal, but Jamal, I've not seen him today. By 33K, if he's eliminated right now, that would be causing a lot of trouble to the IGLs. They're trying to survive, but IGLs 33k eliminated by Glixie. Trying to take that revive. Moody. I think the best option would have been taking that revive because no one was trying to push him. But the excess power, having been eliminated as a full squad very, very early in the game, they have just met their doom once more with one elimination. Excess power just receiving that excess force and back to the lobby. They have the power, but the CG3 gods, they just showed them that they got the lightning. They can fly. They are Supermen. So if it's a matter of powers, they have it all. And the clutch gods still clutching, and they do get the 2 eliminations from the excess power. But the game is quite, we are still quite early in the stages. But I believe it is, if it is like, these teams are trying to like get that form, because, you know, tomorrow we have those finals. They have to outdo themselves today, because it will be too late for them in the third game, in the fourth game, for them to say, now, yes, let's do this right now. This is our time. That will be very, very hard for them to make a comeback. You know, remontadas exist, but magic does not. So if they believe in magic, they believe they can make it in the final maps. Let's say we only have 2 final maps. I think that would be like aiming too high. You know, the sky is the limit. Although now no one is limited, they just have to understand how far they can do this. And the IGLs are still trying to survive the wrath of the death those, as we are also getting to spectate those Horn Legends for the first time as they are fighting against the X. That is the team Execute. Speed is down on the ground. Trying to check if the ground is wet. And guess what? They found some blood. And that is their own blood as Dynamo takes Speedway T and Cloud back to the game, back to the lobby. And they will not be getting even a single elimination, even a single point, because these Horn Legends are they're quite good. You know, when it comes to numbers, I've seen Dynamo performing, and that guy knows how to outperform himself. Clinical strikes, good rotations, but Dynamo, he is called to action. If he's not able to dominate at this point, High on Crack might be able to clinch that elimination and take him back home. You know, High on Crack, he got the knock, but unfortunately, a numbers game and Team Execute executed again. This is quite early for the Team Execute. I don't understand the kind of mentality that they are bringing to the table, but this is not it. For Team Execute, they need to go, stay down, try to get that conversation, try and reset, because this is not working towards their end. But Fight still breaking loose towards the farm area, as teams are still trying to farm those eliminations. Rescue Esports, they don't want the Rescue Alphabet is fighting against one of the most dominant squads ever, which is the BPX. Who are packing quite a fight, as Gone is trying to get these BPX, and that is a clean nade as Mike sends a BPX Von packing, and a Viper trying to make the rotation from that western area. But Viper has to be careful, and that is a good clean knock, and AP Gone takes down Viper. Viper is gone. And the Alphabets are quite splendid with only one player remaining. Brutal Cycles, they got that in the previous game, but at the moment, Izox, everything is down to his hands. The ball is in his court. He just has to ensure that he has the manpower, he has the courage, he has the bravery to be able to shake off these Alphabets team. They're looking for him. They know that he is here, but they just can't prove exactly where. Izox has not been moving. He's just holding, not making a sound. Shh. Don't make a sound, because whatever sound that you will be making right now, they will know that Izox is here. And that is one thing that he does not want them to know. And Izox moving slowly as he sees the Alphabets trying to scour and scout, looking for him, looking for his body. They know that the man is here. They just can't prove where. So you should avoid moving, because moving right now, you can be hard. Even though you are proning, people can hear people. You can be able to hear people proning. Like, it has that sound, and that is what he has to avoid. BPX getting eliminated right now. These will be quite a bummer to their end. Imagine getting number 3, and then the next game you get number 13. That would be quite a shame. But teams are still trying to find their footing. They are still trying to find their ground, as the clutch goals are coming for the third party, but the third party won't be working. And the BPX player was able to survive, but the clutch goals, they might be receiving quite a ruckus, as CG3 Sato is not by the AP gone. Quite a spray. And that man is like he's using aimbot, aim assist from another planet. Because that was insane. BPX Edox was able to take down one of the alpha-based players. Although Edox was eliminated, he didn't get that required knock, as CG3 MS is very, very low. 1 shot, 0 shot. These man are trying to fight against numbers. He does not have any health. He's trying to heal up. They are trying to make the push. They are trying to throw those nades. And the MS will be pushing S12K, nades in hand. MS is going for the alpha base, but unfortunately, this is just going in alpha base. Way gone. 3 eliminations already. This is a man on a mission, and we clearly see his vision. And we are ready for those clutches, as Relentless in a very heated fight. A good nade, and Ardent will be facing that Rescue Esports, and quite a DBS. No life. Sucking the life out of Relentless. They were not relentless enough, and they just found out. And we keep on pushing. We keep on trying. And in the comment section, don't forget, like the live stream. Let's keep on pushing. Whichever team you are supporting or you want or are looking forward to see them winning, just write their name in the chat. Do you think, is it the Brutal Psychos? Is it the 4PF? Is it the Deados or the Rush Esports? We also have the Horn Legends, but that was a clean precision nade as Aqua is taken down. And the waters have just broken, as Aqua just received one of the best nades in the game. That man will be having something to think about. But the nade will be clouding his thoughts, as that was a headshot by a nade. It's quite awesome, bro. Like, imagine getting eliminated headshot with a nade. I think that is one of the most terrifying things. And the CG3s just found out why you should never mess with the alpha base, because CG3s were the first people to be taking those shots towards that alpha base side, as the map will be shrinking in just a few seconds, and more action will be towards that southern part where the Rescue Esports are holding, and the 5 SWs. We also see the iTech Esports 1Tech. They're trying to cross the bridge and try to approach the zone from that southern area. The NGX are still outside of the play zone, and we'll be trying to take that eastern side of Pochinki, as the Alpha Base approach Pochinki from that northern end. And the Rush Esports, they want to rush people with blood rushing, fighting against these 4PFs. 4PF, they have been cooking, but they have also been cooking a lot. They smell like chicken, and that's why the Rush Esports Pasta just got that elimination. Rush, 4 pockets full, they're not having good games. I don't know what happened to the 4 pockets, because 4PF, they've been the most dominant teams, because I've seen a couple of teams from their end. They've been the most dominant for as long as I can remember back then. But at the moment, with these new generation, 4PFs are not just surviving. They're having some very, very hard times. But they're still in the game. We have 3 maps remaining. As No Life from the Rescue Esports is also trying to get more elimination. Shaki cooking the nade. And Saint has to be careful. This might be it. And this is definitely getting that double duel. Now Saint is sent back. Saint eliminated. That was a double nade. Squatter eliminated, Saint eliminated. Squatter was the man of the match in the previous game as Morife is trying to take up the fight between him and the Rescue Esports. And the Rescue Esports, they need rescuing. Morife not running today. Morife in a very, very composed state as he's trying to take Saint back to the game. And Boozy is also there. They have the numbers. It's no longer as numbers game because we have more numbers towards that Rescue Esports side. But one of the guys is down. A Shark is trying to clutch a 1v3. I take Boozy trying to make that rotation, trying to come to the aid of the teammate. And that is a clean nade. That is a clean slate. And Morife sent Sharky parking. That was a perfect, magnificent. And that's how you do it. You can never underrate any team in this game. All the teams are packed and loaded, and they know what they're bringing to the game. And Morife, and a GG's to him. I think the one tick, their chances of even getting more points in these games increasing. Rush Esports, the 6 eliminations. Rescue Esports, they need rescuing. They're back to the lobby. Brutal Cycles back to the lobby. And the game has 6 teams only. And for the first Erangel, things are not looking good for most of the teams. We saw the excess, getting that excess force back to the lobby. But the game is not yet lost. The 5 SW are trying to make the rotation of 4 points from that bridge area as Morife is trying to rotate from the western side. At the moment is anyone's game, and anyone here is game. As all these teams are trying their best to survive. Death Doors are still surviving. How are Death Doors surviving this long? You know, I saw the Death Doors previous game, they got the number 2, but are they going to get the chicken dinner? You know, they've been knocking, and not just knocking, they've been knocking a lot, but to no avail. No chicken dinner has been able to come to their end. Will this be the game where we're seeing the Death Doors finally getting a chicken dinner? I hope it is for the Death Doors fans. If you believe that the Death Doors can win this game, just write W for Death Doors. This will be pretty hard. As the one take esports, they've been very, very great at what they are doing. Those glitchy, you know, they lost William. We have Sema and Glitch. So at the Rayman army for the Death Doors. But that is as much as the numbers can go. NGX with only 2 men. 5 SW with 4 men. HL, that's the Horn Legends, 4 men. Rush, 4 men. ITE, that's the one tick with the Rayman. So 2 teams don't have a full squad. That's the NGX, ITEs. But the game is still not yet lost. You know, as I told you, we have the 1v4s that happen. Yeah, the game's still tied up close as all these teams are looking to get that chicken dinner. You know, it's not about that chicken dinner. It's about the cumulative assessment of this game. As teams, Rush team has been pretty confident. 6 eliminations already. Arnie moving all in. NGX Kelly, a streamer and an esports player. And it's quite nice. I've seen more esports players around as all these teams are looking to get that cash. Kelly from that southern part as we are seeing the fight. Glitch, oh my word, fighting against the one take esports. You know, we saw this fight where the one take esports were able to dominate these are dead those. And Morifo might be the final player. No, he is the final player fighting against the Rayman army. Dead those, trying to cook up the net. That was almost perfect. Those glitches down Morife. The man has been quite insane as Seima is trying to provide the cover fire, but Morife still cooking those nades, still trying to batter and bruise them. But Morife taken back to the lobby by the barrage of nades coming from that Dead Those end. And Dead Those, they've been able to execute their revenge and take the one tick esport backpacking back to the lobby. And that's a GG's for the one tick. There's only the stage 5. We are yet to get to that stage 6. Is supposed to be the hottest of them all. The Rush Army are still with the 3, trying to take that potato for Chinky Hill. One of the best positions if you are to dominate the game. The Rush is still holding, trying to get these Horn Legends. Because Dynamo is there, waiting, lacking. Yeah, but Dynamo can't take that hill. So he decided to go back to his teammates. And I think that was the best decision for Dynamo, because most of the times we've seen teams losing players because of a confidence. You know, sometimes you have to understand when is it good to take on the fights, when is it bad to take on the fights. And Dynamo was quite sane on that. But Dynamo, he escaped the Rush Esports and found 5 SWs who were quite insane, and they got the eliminations. They got him. The Rush Esports Pasta still pasting back, taking these teams by storm. They don't even believe that this man is doing this. You know, I believed in the Rush Esports. I never doubted them a bit, but right now they are just doing extravagant. But they don't have the numbers, you know, only a duo left. The team with the numbers, that's the Horn Legends, were able to take Dynamo back up. 5 SWs, also with a full squad as those glitches rush down, but the Rush Army, and it's becoming hotter and hotter as the those Sema in that extent and takes down Arnie. And with only one player remaining, Rush Esports, these will be very, very hard for them to be able to assert dominance. And the one-man player remaining, Rush Pastor, in a heated, controversial fight between him and the HL's Horn Legends. And it's a game of numbers, it's a game of chess. And it's a game of who makes the chess. But the 5 SW Esports, they have been good. HL Dynamo does get the dose samer. And the number still reducing, the number still dwindling. Those glitches trying to provide that cover fire. Fighting against the HL's Horn Legends will be given something to think about. But Dynamo quite good, and Dynamo gets another elimination. Oh my god, those glitzy. The final player, but oh my goodness. Dead those. They whispered into the ears of all these teams. They whispered death. But you know what? Right now, the opposite has just happened, because the Horn Legends, they came in with those horns flying in the air, and they whispered the death into the ears of the Dead Those Esports. And we're going to be having a new chicken dinner winner, as one take was eliminated. The team that had the potential Dead Those was eliminated. And the Horn Legends looking quite good with Dynamo 5 eliminations, clutching, taking those eliminations by storm. Aggressor, oh my word. And this is the final stretch, as Rush Esports have been eliminated. 7 players remaining. A 4v3 situation. Yeah, who will take this win? No, 5v2, sorry. And the number stacked towards the Horn Legends. They're trying to spot these players. One Dynamo, oh my word, that was nice. That was crazy. Abjaka unfortunately eliminated, and the final stretch for the final player, Mashikal, has to do a lot. Mashikal has to ensure that he gives the 5SW Esports that chicken dinner, trying to cook up that nade, and these might be one ruthless nade, but unfortunately far-fetched and receiving all the strikes, and that's a W for the Horn Legends as they come in blazing. They come in with the final strike, and they do take the chicken dinner home. You know what? The champions are here. You know what? That chicken dinner was just so sweet. For the Horn Legends, that's a GG's, a W's in the chat. If you are watching these moments transpire right in front of our eyes, and the Horn Legends, they clinch that perfect chicken dinner with 10 eliminations. But for the Horn Legends, I think one of their players, that was the HL Dynamo, that was the key player. So Dynamo, the Fragger with the 5 eliminations. We had Eden, we had Aggressor, each of them getting one apiece, and then Mateo with the 3 eliminations. So 10 eliminations of the chicken dinner. That sets the pace of these tournaments. You know, it's the final showdown. PMNC Kenya, dead those. And these are those of action that just happened right now. For the chicken dinner winners, Horn Legends, GG's. And for the head to head, you know, it's still surprising that the Death Doors are still in the head to head with 10 eliminations for the Horn Legends, 11 eliminations. Death Doors were able to dominate in terms of the number of eliminations. But when it comes to the total damage, Horn Legends were able to dominate with more than 50 damage. Heals, the Horn Legends were taking up those fights, 11 total knocks for the Death Doors. For the Horn Legends, it was just a clean up party. That's why 7 knocks and 10 elims, the 3 of them gotten from the cleanup. They're those. They lost in the head to head, but you know what? That does not matter at the moment. For the match MVP, none other than the man with the 5 eliminations, the HL Dynamo from the Horn Legends, with close to 800 total damage, not healed up a lot in 5 total knock. So these guys, whichever knock this guy was getting, he was ensuring that he get that elimination. So it was very, very fast. Get the knock, finish. A knock in the finish. A knock in the finish. And that was the HL Dynamo. Dynamic in how he played that game. That was the match MVP, you know. Kudos to him. The game number 2 was hot. And we had a lot of players doing a lot of amazing things. But the HL Dynamo, the man of the hour with the 5 eliminations, we also had the Rush Pastor, who pasted a lot of shots in this game, getting the 4 eliminations. But in terms of damage, he was high with 869 damage. That was epic, AP gone. He fought a lot of fights. BPX, he got the 1v3, 3 eliminations for him. Dosema also 4 eliminations. Rush, Arnie, a young man, and was able to get 3 eliminations and the 2 assists. But Arnie, just is it like 10 years? No, 12 years, 13 years of age is able to match up to these men. Yeah, esports is growing. I remember at our age, at 13, you'll be reading for KCPE. And others, they didn't even go for the 844, they went for others. You know, like we saw Madara. Madara is I will not call him ancient, but Madara knows that. But for the chicken dinner winners, we had the Horn Legends with the 20 points, 10 from the placement and 10 from the eliminations. We had the Dead Those with 3 placement and 11 eliminations. So the Dead Those are dominating in terms of eliminations, but those placements are not just theirs. Rush is post taking that number 3, still within the range. You had the 5 SWs esports with the 9. And again, from the number 4 to the number 16, all these teams not even getting 10 points, which will be some that we'll be watching out for. Maybe in the next game, we'll be seeing a lot of different teams dominating and trying to get as much points as possible. You know, those double Gs, that is what sets up the pace for your team. You know, you get like more than 10 points in the next game, you guys come back stronger. And for the top players, those glitch with 1300 damage, 9 eliminations already in the 2 games. Rush Arnie, 8 eliminations. A young man, Dynamo, getting that top stretch with 8. We have Skoda with the 8, Dose William with the 7. And funny thing for Skoda, Skoda got these 8 eliminations in 1 game. So that means that in this Erangel that just we were just in right now, Skoda didn't even get 1 elimination. He was one of the guys that was eliminated by the nade from the rescue esports. Although they were able to shake off the rescue, Skoda was not even able to get 1 elimination. But this is crazy. As we keep on pushing, things are not looking good. For the overall ranking at the top, Dead those 37 total points. You have the Horn Legends with the 29. We have the One Tick Esports, Rush Esports 5 SW Esports, Rescue Esports. But we have to talk about their own legends. With one game, they've been able to turn around things. They got 20 points in this previous game. That means they had 9 points in the first game. So 20 plus 9, 29. So one game to change it all. Rush, One Take Esports, they dominated the first game, but this one, they were clapped, and not just clapped hard. They got the 29. We have the Rush Esports. But for Team Execute, leading from behind, 0 eliminations, in-game leader, 1 elimination, 4 pockets full, not even able to do something at this stage of the game with only 3 maps remaining. This will be hard for them to keep up with the pace from the Dead Those, Horn Legends, One Take, and the Rush Esports. So they have to do a lot for them to stay in the game. In-game leaders, we've not been seeing so much from them. They have to wrap up. They have to pull up their socks for that game. It's not going to be easy. But Miramar, this has been the best spot for this team. Specific, we have the in-game leaders. But are they going to dominate when it comes to that game? It's going to be hard to know right now. But you know what? In just a few minutes, we are going to be getting the answer to all these critical questions. Whether they dominate, whether they get eliminated, that is just upon to how they choose those rotations, how they choose to play the game. And Miramar, dynamics changing. Who will be able to take it home? The game number 3 in just a few seconds. So lock in, and don't change the dial. We'll see you in just a few seconds. Hello, guys. I hope you can hear me right now. You can hear me? I think it's good. Well, my mic just. You know what, guys? We are back to the action. We saw the game number one where they were able to take the first game. We had the game number two where we saw some new chicken dinner winners, the Horn Legends. Right now, we are heading straight to the game number three, and it is none other than Miramar, one of the best maps around in terms of everything. So it's time for action, guys. And once again, lock in those seats, strap yourselves on those seats, keep your arms inside of those vehicles because we are going into those lush pastures, the dry grounds of Miramar. It's going to be insane, it's going to be crazy, and the action just began. I hope you're going to see new chicken dinner winners as the map is moving towards that Monte Nuevo area. Hopefully, we'll be able to see teams heading to that San Martin area, Graveyard. We've not seen a lot of teams taking the areas of La Cabrera, but hopefully, we'll be able to see them moving towards that direction and hopefully win the game from those areas. But with the zone shift, teams will be looking to be taking that Puerto Paraíso with the dead those is making a haven. And at that point, they'll be able to just loot and just wait for these teams to come to their end. As the BPX are also trying to get a foot in this game, you have the NGX taking two Macera. So most of the parts of the western area, they are neglected, and most of these teams taking that southern eastern part. And are going to be seeing these fights unfold very early in the game. And hopefully we'll be able to see new players, new clutches, and ultimately new things unfolding. And if you're watching the stream, don't forget that this is the preparations for the grand finals, but PMNC Kenya's final showdown before the finals themselves. Hopefully be able to see like these teams that will be dominating today, dominating tomorrow. It's not that early to judge, you know. The finals are just tomorrow, and it's very early as Pasta is pasted down. Arnie has to provide the cover fire. And the Rush Arnie is one of the critical players from this Rush team. With already 8 eliminations in 2 games, he's setting a mark and he's trying to even get more eliminations and try to save his teammate. And excess power, Chaser taking an elimination home, Lewaria making a comeback. And I think this is the first time that we are seeing the ring leader Lewaria back in the game as he's trying to lead the XS Esports towards that top spot. You know, those points are not many. And the circle already closing in. And I think one of the circles that closes like very fast is Miramar, like Miramar, Rondo. So these maps that have like some big water to land ratio, those are the maps that the circle starts closing very early. So teams have to take note of that. Teams have to start moving very early, try to get those safe spots, try to get to the play zone, and try to dominate as fast as they can. But when it comes to esports, if you're a growing player, you want to like understand how these teams they know, you have to be like them. You have to play these games. You have to play the scrims. You have to know how to use the shotguns, because shotguns they call the shots, and Rush Arnie will not be taking another elimination home as Rush Jogo is trying to provide the cover fire, but a bit too late for him because Chaser has just done the Lord's work for the BPX at the moment. Taking the Rush Esports, these opens ground for teams to make a comeback. Jogo will not be doing that again. He tried something out of magic. He tried to pick, but they picked him up as if he was nothing, as if there was no player there. And Team Execute, you know, Execute was one of the top teams ages ago, but at the moment they're still trying. They're still struggling to even get a single point, with players getting knocked left, right, and center. Cloud7, High on Crack. You know, we saw High on Crack getting a knock, but unfortunately, they are not the ones. You know, they have not yet found their confidence. Team Execute is quite good. They just have to ensure that they got it all. But unfortunately, the courage is not there. The will is not there. You know, that push. So I don't know why Team Execute has been playing like that. And this is posing a lot of questions right now. With only one point, not even an elimination, with only 1 point, sitting at the number 16, getting clubbed by the NGX. Look at this, with only one player remaining. I don't know if the Execute will even survive this game. And getting eliminated at the game number 3, these will be a bye-bye for you and ultimately for your team. And the rush, they are still rushing as the X's esports with only one player remaining. You know, the X's, they started the fight, they got the rush Arnie, and these rush team, they are not joking around. They want him, Moody. You have to be careful, otherwise you will be unavailable at the moment from Execute. As Modi is trying to move around, Mazin is still down on his knees, unavailable, taking shots, but with a good angle, with a good vantage point. The Rush Esports, Rush TGLTN is able to get the re-eliminations out of the excess power. The NGX were trying their best to get a Team Execute on the other end as the fight was happening, but unfortunately, also the NGX have said a goodbye to the game. And the game number 1 for the Miramar, you know, we have that double dose. And the secrets to Miramar is have the numbers, have teams, have players that have those long range weapons. SMGs are quite crucial. You know, shotguns are good, but SMGs here are very, very crucial. So those weapons, the Uzi, the ones that are neglected the most, that is the one that most of these teams will be looking to have. As time is ticking, 4PF are still trying to find a footing. Call me, still not able to call back with only 8 points, 2 games. Honestly, this game, Miramar being not my favorite map, honestly, because we have a lot of these snipers. Snipers are good when I have them. They are the worst if I don't have them. But the 4POC is full with the new sniper. And this is one of the new snipers with the knife. So it's quite so it's quite good. It's quite good. So whenever like you are out of bullets, you can also dagger your enemies. And the HLs, Horn Legends, are trying to pick up a good pace towards the 4PF. But Kakashi is still holding. And the Gardner moving in with that aid of 4PFs. They have to be watching out because Aggressor has been watching them as the zone is shifting towards Puerto Paraíso. There's those have not been moving. They have just been waiting for that zone to come to them. But the BPX will have a question for the Dead Those. A question about survival. I don't know if the Dead Those have an answer. But if they have that answer, that's just upon them. The time ticking is all about the teams that have the best spots. It's all about the teams that will be able to make that first strike as Los Leones engulfed with the play zone. And the zone moving potentially towards that Puerto Paraíso area as Impala packing the Call Me. From the western part, we have the Rescue and the Team Execute. And this is just para match number 3. As we are trying to match up the points, as we're trying to match up the games, Rescue their full squad with Fedro leading that squad, Shaki, Buxiana. And from Team Execute, you know, we talked about an available, like when you had that fight between them and the Rush, the XS and the Rush, Unavailable was able to get 3 players from the NGX, send them backpacking, send them back to the lobby. And that's why he has that, the remark, those 3 eliminations. NGX will be looking at Unavailable and trying to think how on earth was he able to pull that off. But at the moment, teams are trying to get the play zone, are trying to utilize every angle. And it's anybody's game. And as we always say, that everyone is game, as the Horn Legends take 4PF Kakashi backpacking back to the lobby. 4PF, nothing. Have to be careful picking that spot against these HLs. These will be bad for him. Opens the scope, but Dynamo with the sit, pack, and he takes down the 4 pockets full. You know, Dynamo did these in the previous game. Right now, he still was able to do that again. So Dynamo was quite confident, but that scope just makes the 4PF nothing. You know, nothing can prepare you for that. And 4PF, nothing could prepare him for Dynamo changing that seat and taking him down in a merry-go-round fashion. But everything still moving as we are approaching the stage number 3. That is the stage of evil. Those glitch trying to hold up the Call Me Ligo down eliminated. But you have to admire the patience for the Dose Esports. Glitch, they've just been waiting for their right moment to strike. And once they get their right moment, they just strike with precision. And Dead Dose, insane, Dead Dose, on their toes, Dead Dose. Still trying to get a chicken dinner. That's the only team in the top 3 with no chicken dinner, but they have been able to dominate. BPX on the other end of fighting. And the Call Me is the ones that have been caught at a very, very crosshair as the Death Dose is trying to create that choke point, trying to trap them in. You also have Relentless trying to hold the Call Me Pro Box. You know, Call Me they're at a very, very bad spot because at this spot, they are taking shots from every single angle. I think their bags are just so big that they're taking all the shots. Like any shots, these guys are holding. Any shots, these guys are packing. Any shots. But unfortunately, you know, you can always take as many shots. And Call Me called back again to the lobby. Not having a fantastic game. Just getting a whooping. And our teams reduced to 12 from 16. And everything looking all good. If you are watching the stream, don't forget, give the stream a like. Subscribe. We are PTK Africa. Today we have the Death Dose with us. And with the amazing production, that is the Medical Esports. Bringing these crazy sets of gameplay from every angle. So that you may get to know, you may get to follow up with what is happening in this game. And the 20 seconds remaining for the zone to get that stage 3. BPX suffering casualties as the Rescue Esports have those questions for the BPX. BPX are good, I know it. But the only problem that I see most of the time is that BPX, they get eliminated one by one. You know, you need to get eliminated as a team. But getting picked up one by one, that is arguably the worst thing possible. You know, you have to play as a team. You have to secure the zone as a team. You have to dominate as a team. If you don't dominate as a team, your chances of survival just reduces to close to 0. Yeah, clean strikes from every single angle. The HLs are looking for a second chicken dinner. Alpha base Mike. Oh my word, that is a mistake. What was he doing? Why was he parking that weapon behind his back? Naruto. Oh my word. Dynamo is just cooking them. With 3 eliminations, Alpha base don't know what hit them. But you know what? I know what hit them. That was the HL Dynamo. Already, 3 eliminations. Alpha base are looking so bad at the moment. But they still have a chance. You know, 2 games remaining. This is the game number 3. And with the clock ticking, we don't have a lot of chances. If they waste the 2 more chances, they are as good as cooked. IGL 33K. We have the IGL Kido finally back in the game. Finally seeing him in the screen. Looking to put the in-game leaders at a very, very fantastic spot as the Rush Esports. You're still trying to find a ground. Still trying to pull up their socks. With the shots flying their way, quite some good sensitivity control. I don't know how these players are able to do this, but the AUG is one of the worst weapons if you have the worst sensitivities. It's the best if you know how to make the sprays because it has a higher fire rate than the M416. But it's the worst. If you have the worst sensitivities, the AUG is not your weapon. But most of the times I prefer the AUG because it is perfect. It is perfect. If you get those shots, the enemy will not even see you coming. The fire rate is quite high. But I don't know about you guys. Between the M416 and the AUG, which one would you rather choose? M416 or the AUG? It's a do or die moment. You need to take a fight. Will you go for the AUG or will you go for the M416? And the zone is creeping through. It's just a matter of time for us to be able to see how the approach from these teams is going to be, as all of them are looking for the chicken dinner, but the chicken dinner will only come from one team. Los Leones has been the place as Glitzy is downed, eliminated. And as same Glitch and William. Yo, Glitch has 5 eliminations already. That's quite crazy. Impala had some parts of the play zone, as those Sema is trying to find those high grounds, those high stakes, trying to bring Glixi back on into the game. And in just some few seconds, we shall be seeing something different as Viper is getting vibed. Viper with the Venom. Oh my word. Viper did make the strike and he got the eliminations. And the BPX, even though they are a duo, these men, they are packing up a fight. Rescue Esports just found out, but they are still in that very, very heated encounter. 2v2 situations for the Brutal Cycles versus the Rescue Esports. And it's just a matter of time as the BPX players are just getting rushed. The angle, you know, he has to pick it right. Nades flying everywhere as the Brutal Cycles are still trying to survive with 6 eliminations already and looking to add more skulls to their feast as Phaedro Wuxian taken from the backside. They have to be careful because these might be their death ground. These might be their graveyard as the BPX look to be very, very confident in how they are taking this fight. Phaedro cooking up a nade, but no one's home. Viper has a perfect one, but no one is there. But he almost got Wuxian. They are making that push, but he knows. Just make the spray, just make that purifier, and you can be able to assert dominance. Phaedro trying to cook up that nade, but BPX with some establishing shots. It's a BPX AUG battle. The BPX is strong, but the AUG is quite crazy as Phaedro is trying to make that rotate with the pump shotgun. Trying to find a new angle to be able to take this BPX team. But it's still not that advantageous. BPX are not moving. They have just been waiting for the Rescue Esports to make a push from that angle. BPX Rescue Esports Wuxian as Matteo is trying to close in on that bad party. Those Glitchy on the other end is trying to fight against the Horn Legends as they take a couple of shots. But the Horn Legends are not in for that fight. Viper. Nades flying. Viper still holding that ground. You know, I was expecting to see one of these teams dominating. I was not expecting to see them holding as much as they have held. As you know, this is the kind of situation that happens most of the times when it comes to these esports, you know, finals. And these teams, they are in the finals. And the final strike, BPX. I don't know how to read that name, so I'm going to call him Steve. And the BPX Steve, together with the BPX Viper, Wuxian, Phaedro, their fight was nigh, but I don't think it's today. But they have to be watching out for the deaths. The RCs are trying to give us a TED talk. Brutal Cycles are trying to give us the walk of shame. They're trying to show them how the lobby smells when you're taken down by the Brutal Cycles, and they see where the RCs are trying to make the rotation from, and he finds his angle, trying to cook up the nade with a perfect precision strike. These might be successful. He's cooking up. He has to help his teammates as they rescue esports with only one player remaining. These might be their graveyard, and these might be it. Oh my word, brutal cycles, brutal in every way, and they take the fight from the rescue esports. Call the rescue. Woo, woo. Is that an ambulance? Guess what? Yes, it is, because the brutal cycles, they brought the rescue to the rescue esports, but not that kind of rescue. Escorted them in a graveyard. They fought their fight, even though they didn't have the numbers. They were able to stay focused and they were able to take them down. Quite a GG's for the BPX as they dominate against that rescue esports squad. Rescue esports has been losing a lot of fights. Some of them are mistakes, some of them are wrong calls, but they have 2 games remaining as they want to take another chicken dinner. Clutch goals are still trying to clutch. Mbuzi, yes, the MS. And the Horn Legends unfortunately eliminated. They won the chicken dinner, but the next game they were just obliterated out of oblivion. So I have a question. At times I wonder, the team that gets the chicken dinner in the next game, they fumble a lot. You've seen the one take in the first game, they won the chicken dinner. Second game, eliminated, even didn't get to the top 10. And right now, we had the Horn Legends. They won the previous game, but right now they didn't just pack that fight. We saw Dynamo getting the eliminations from the Alpha base, but they did not even get good placement points. Eliminated quite early, giving these other teams a chance of redemption, which is wrong. But they have to try. Nothing is hard when it comes to Rush Esports. We've not been able to spectate them most of these times. They have to be aware that they have some players here, and Mbuzi is spotted by the TLGTN, and he's trying to take up a fight. Mbuzi in a very, very good spot. He smoked up the area, waiting calmly. CG3 Kazuma. So we have CG3 on his left, and on the right we have the Rush player, and Mbuzi taken down on his knees, relentless, eliminated. And the one take esports. This is not one to take us. Mbuzi was escorted in a very unfamiliar, goated way. Team Execute still in the game with the 5 eliminations. And with only 3 teams left, Deathtoll still again in the final. 4 players. They have the most numbers. CG3, they have the trio. And finally, we have Team Execute with 2 players only. Deathtoll. This is upon them to take that chicken. They have the numbers, they have the position, they have everything. The zone is just on their grasp, and they smell the chicken. They've tried a lot to get the chicken, but they have not been faithful. They have not been getting. They have not been even close to tasting it. They have been eliminated most of these times. But the chicken might be coming their way in the third game of the evening. These might be it as they execute unavailable. X is trying to get to the play zone, trying to get to a good spot. He spots that Deathtoll player. And William Glitch Sema trying to help Glixie, as Glixie is spotted and available, almost eliminated, healing up. But Glixie won't let him have passy. He won't let him have peace. It's a whole festival of needs. As unavailable was trying to get to the safe zone, only to get into the hands of Glixie. And we're down to a 3v4 situation as the Clutch Gods Aqua eliminated. Only 2 players remaining. Will they be able to even survive? Oh my god, look at Aqua trying to move like a god, but oh my goodness. With only 1 player, the Clutch Gods, this is their final moment of redemption. And finally, that chicken dinner for the Deathtoll. It was smelling, they were knocking, and they finally get that satisfaction of the chicken dinner. That was great. That was awesome. That was straight up fire. They came, they saw, they conquered, they took that chicken by fire, by storm. They made sure that that was not out of luck. And oh my days, he just turned that fight around. They turned the game around like it's a whole YouTube tutorial. That wasn't a gunfight. That was public execution for the CG3s. and the team execute. And for our winner chicken dinners, team dead those 15 eliminations. And 10 for the placement, that would be buffing up their points when it comes that overall rating, overall rank. We have the Dose Glixie with the 5 eliminations, same with the 2 eliminations, Glitch with the 7, and finally we have the Dose William got that 1 elimination. 15 is crazy. And Glitch with 7, that setting up to that MVP spot. They were not looking very, very confident, but they are looking confident right now. The chicken dinner winners, they were being compared to them, but at the moment, they are the ones being compared to. We did those 15 eliminations. BPX was quite good with 11 eliminations. We had 1900, almost close to 2000 damage for all those fights that they've been able to take. For the BPX, the 1500. For the total knocks, of course, the dead those, they have the most eliminations. So they have the most total knocks. They win the head to head. And for that match MVP, none other from the Dodos, that is the Dose Glitch, 7 eliminations and that 5 total knocks. Close to 1,000 damage for a single player in a competitive field. This guy is running the game as if it is a fun room. Dose Glitch, very, very powerful and satisfactory GGs as he cruises through for the Death Those esports as they're trying to get that top spot in the PMNC. Glitch being our top player in the game with the 7. We had Viper with the 6 elimination. Glixie got the 5. BPX, we said we call him Glitch. No, not Glitch, not Glitch. Steve. Yeah, because we can't read the name, so we're calling him Steve. So BPX Steve with the 3 eliminations. And finally, we had the TGLTN getting that final elimination. So it is from 7 to 4. That is quite some spread when it comes to these top players in this game. And just one mistake changes everything line. One game, you may take a good decision, and one game, a bad decision for the Dead Those. This has been a perfect decision for them with 25 points. Brutal Cycles with the 13 points. But they didn't have a lot of placement. I think if they had good placement, they would have gotten more than 15 because only 2 placements, that was not what they were intending. But the Clash Gods 10, they survived to the final bout and achieved those 6 points for the placements. But the 4 pockets full with nothing in their pocket to show for all the hard work. That very, very big donut in game leaders following suit, and the 5 SW esports still with that 0. But we saw quite some improvement coming from the team execute, taking that number 4 with the 5 eliminations and those 5 placement points. So I think as we are advancing, these teams are finally finding it easy to play the game. The game 1 was not that easy, the game 2 was not that easy, but when it comes to the game number 3, game number 4, game number 5, this is where these guys, they are coming in strong. And for the overall top players, none other than the man himself, Glitch, with the 16 eliminations and the 6 assists. We had Dynamo, 11 elimination, 1 assist, and finally we have the Dose Glixie with the 10. That is the final player from the Dose esports. That is the Dead Dose to make it to the overall top players. We can't even refute the scores because Dead Dose has been terrific. 62 total points in 3 games. 19 placement points. If you divide 19 out of the 3 games that they've played, that means that in each game they are able to get more than 6 placement points. And for the eliminations, 43. Divide that by 3 and you get to understand how little these guys are moving. Horn Legends take the numbers 2. We have the One Take Esports, Rush Esports, Brutal Cycles following suit in the number 5. Although Brutal have been very, very brutal in their game, I wonder how they have the 18 eliminations. I was expecting that the Brutal Cycles will have like more than 30, but I think that is just caster's math. This is the perfect math for the 4 pockets full. I think they have to empty their pockets because they are not full of anything with only 1 point. In-game leaders with the XS Power was trying their best to fight against the Rush Esports, although the Rush was able to shake them off. They got them by storm. They got those eliminations quite early. They were able to dominate. They were able to strike. Rush was perfect. In the executions, they were perfect. In the gameplay, they were perfect. And XS Power, they didn't believe what just happened. And finally, they did those. They've been able to clinch a chicken dinner today with only 2 maps remaining. Who will be the champion? This is a one-day event. Tomorrow we're having the PMNC finals in the PUBG Mobile Africa. And don't forget, guys, this is PTK Africa. My name is the PTK Youngblood. And in the production, that is the Mythical Esports, bringing the show to us as those made this possible. But for now, guys, we're taking a very, very short break. Teeny, tiny break. Don't change the dial. Stay focused. Like the stream. And if you miss some action, rewind the stream and get to see what happened. We are coming back in just a few seconds for the game number 4. Lock in, stay tight, and see you then. Woo. Welcome back. It was cold, but right now it's becoming so hot. We had the game number one, the game number two, the game number three, and right now this is the final Miramar game. Game number four for the PMNC Kenya final showdown. I'm not even sure who will be taking this home, but one thing that I'm sure of is the team that is going to take the chicken dinner is a team that really deserves that chicken dinner. If you're watching, don't forget like the stream, subscribe to the channel as we keep on pushing the PMNC Kenya and these PMNC teams to try and get to the PMGOs. The game is still in the early stages. No, I'm lying. The game is not even in its early stages. The games are about to end. This is the game number four, and then we go to that final game, which will be the game that will be setting up the pace, and we will know, we will get to understand who will be the champions. This is Miramar, and the playing path is quite okay. It's not perfect, but it's better because the other one was moving from that southern area of Puerto Paraíso. This time round, coming from La Cableria, Tole Armunda, being one of the closest places for these teams. Water treatment, Hacienda del Patron being one of the fast stops for the plane path, but no single player has been able to move to those ends, to move to those points, and they're all shifting as the BBX is taking low Cableria. Crater, we have the Colmies and the Does still maintaining their drop spot. That's Puerto Paraíso. The first Miramar, that was a perfect spot. But right now they have to loot up, try to get to the play zone as early as they can. Already fighter breaking loose. We have the team execute taking 2 eliminations already as the clutch gods. They are getting clutched, eliminated. They are getting that beating, that whooping of a lifetime as team execute is slowly coming back and calming back their nerves. On the game number 4, this will be the game to watch out for because the team that might be dominating this game might be winning. If there's those fumble right now, we might be having some new winners because it just takes one fumble and the teams might be able to catch up. It just takes one fumble and all these guys will be able to step up as the in-game leaders. They've now had quite a good game with that position 15. That is not something that they really wanted. They have to track back. They have to try thinking of new strategies because that is not a good one. A rush pasta taken back to the lobby very early, and the HLs are still striking with Ethan being the first player to do that. But I don't understand the gameplay for the Rush esports. The first Miramar we saw Rush Arnie getting rushed quite early by the excess power. And right now already they've lost one player. They've already lost a player. I don't know the kind of gameplay because Pasta has been eliminated and they are down to that trio. Do they love the trio so much that they are willing to lose every single player before even the real action begins? I'm not 100% sure, but Rush Arnie is still holding as TLGTN just got a perfect spray. Ethan looking to get knocked and eliminated. He tries his best and he just gets the knock. Ethan is down on his knees and Mateo, the final guy from that HL team remaining at that spot, is trying to go past that place and that perfect nade takes Ethan back to the lobby. And it's a man apiece as the HLs lose Ethan and the Rush esports, they lose Pasta. But this is not the Pasta that you guys know of. Some people, when I talk about pasta, they're thinking that we are talking about food. No, we're not talking about food. And for the guys that are thinking that we are talking about a pasta, no, this is not your ordinary pasta. This is pasta from the Rush esports, although was eliminated with nothing left for him to do in the second final Miramar game. At least there are peace. There is a 3v3. I've seen the Alpha Base and I'm thinking one thing. Alpha Base is good, but they have not been playing it better. But this might be the game of reckoning as available. Takes down one more player. He got 3 elimination the previous one. And the CG3 is with 2 players remaining. Aqua has to be careful, otherwise he will be flooded down with the Aqua as he's trying to hold the location. But he needs to understand that he's already been spotted. This execute team, they are just executing magic as they are trying to move up and about, as they are trying to cut those angles, to cut those points, to cut those rotations from the CG3s. They are still doing good as Mateo is taken down by the Rush Army with that Glacier UMP. Judging by how these Team Execute played the first game, then they got eliminated. Right now they're dominating as Dynamo is trying to do things last. They drew a nade and Dynamo has been eliminated. He tried his best to survive, but unfortunately the Horn Legends will be losing it all to the Rush Esports. The Rush Esports, although they lost a player, although they lost Pastor, they were able to get 4 more eliminations. So these are plus to them as Jogo leads the squad with that 2 eliminations. AP, Alphabet, these has not been their base as they are striving to survive. Mbuzi taken back to the lobby. One take esports with only 1 player remaining, who is Urek. They won the chicken first game, but right now they are just chickening out as they are trying to find angles, as they are trying to find that survival mechanism. The game has not been easy for them, but nothing is. We don't have anything that's easy. Yeah, esports is not easy. Esports is not easy. Not easy at all. As they are trying to push Urek, they have to be careful because this guy will not be letting it down as AP finds out why they never push Urek like that. And with the one-man army surviving, with the one-man army, Urek has to make pinpoint precision games as he's trying his best to fight against the Alphabet. He took one down and is getting pushed by a trio. The trio moving from the south side, trying to rotate, trying to get him. The angles are very, very linear. The angles are very, very minute. But one take Urek, he remembers that he needs to take down this team. But unfortunately, the angel on his shoulders just lied to him. They told him push, and guess what? Alphabet just told him, yes, come. You think you can get that code right? And that's how they were able to deliver him out of the game and into the lobby at Cloud 7 with only 1 player remaining, who is him. Team executes. They have to find their footing, otherwise this will be their last game yet. And Cloud 7, a very renowned player in the clouds, but has been running a lot of shots in this game. Rotation 1 by 1 as movements are still getting crisscrossed. But the chance is here. The chance for the revive is here. And as we have seen, the zone is still trying to push all these players towards that power grid area. High on Crack eliminated by the IGLs. But that zone rotation will be pushing a lot of teams towards their death. Because Impala is good. Impala is good. But most of these positions will be compromised because of that zone. And rotations, and a lot of rotations mean a lot of fights, which we are going to be looking out for as the IGLs are fighting. We have the Deathos trying to make the third party. We have the CG3s, Clash Gods. They are also trying to hold an angle to be able to be part of that third party. And NGX Kelly, 4K. He has the 1 elimination fighting against the Access Power. And this is Access Carnage as they are rotating 1 and out. NGX Kelly fighting against Ghosts. Becoming a ghost himself. Ghosted by the Access Power. And the NGX Esports once again not making it to that top 10. That means 0 eliminations for the NGX. But the main domination has been happening towards that Rush Esports team, as teams are trying to move to the Minas Generales. Impala at the moment compromised, and teams have to start moving towards that graveyard area Pecado might also be a very, very good spot for teams to hold. The zone is shifting towards that western central part. Close 7 was able to get the revive, and the time is ticking. 3, 2, 1, and the zone will be trying to shift. So these players, they have to find vehicles, they have to find loot for them to be able to survive in that final zone. The final zone will be very, very hard for most of them. So without the right kind of mentality, without the right kind of loot, these might be a GG's for most of them today. It's all about holding, and they know how to hold it. And dead those Grixie are spotted. Glitch also spotted within the vicinity, but they are in the blue. They have to enter the zone, because that's the exact point where you should be dominating from. You don't take fights in the blue, because you have two enemies then. You have the blue, and then you have the enemies themselves. San Martin and Hacienda del Patron. Our teams are holding those angles. The northern part has been good. From Puerto Paraíso, there those moving towards the graveyard area. And this is a very, very grave situation for the Rescue Esports. You know, they lost the fight against the Rush. They've lost a lot of fights, but, you know, Shaki has to shock us. Fedro has to do something very, very epic, Fedratic. And then you have that guy, No Life. He has to suck souls if there is to be no life. Nothing is looking easy. Even for the Alpha-based esports, they have the 5 eliminations. And I think this is their best game. Alpha-based, they've not played this. And with the zone moving towards that Hacienda del Patron area, oh my goodness, it went towards San Martin. So the whole of San Martin is engulfed to the play zone. We have Graveyard, Hacienda del Patron. Some part of Hacienda is in the play zone. So we're going to have a lot of fights coming from that northern edge, where the BPX will be clashing with the Call Me. Also, we have from the northern eastern part, where the Rush, Arnie, and the 4PFs. That's a potential fight. The 4PFs, 4 pockets full versus the Rush. Also from the south east, we have the Deathos. Every single angle held by teams. And we are still at the stage number 3. Stage number 4 coming in just a few seconds, as the Rescue Esports are trying to survive. Alphabees, Mike, very terrific with nades, but might be eating up a nade from Shaki, as he's trying to move from the front to the behind. Quite crazy gameplays as Mike is taken down, led astray, and taken back to the lobby. Shaki tried to make that finish come their way, but was knocked instead. So don't be too rushy in taking those finishes. And he just found out a real reason why. But the Rescue Esports, while trying to get that dust, was eliminated by the Alphabets. And the Alphabets, their eliminations are still piling up. Skulls still piling up. Alphabets, AP eliminated. Naruto, that is one of the final players remaining from the Alphabet, with only 2 players remaining. Sako closing in just a few seconds. These are not looking good. Brutal Psychos are looking for that number 1. They need to play it good. You know, they've not had a lot of elimination. They've not had the placement points. With 12 teams remaining, they will be avoiding a lot getting eliminated right now. You know, you have to get to the top 8 to be able to qualify for that point conversion. And at the moment, that is the goal. For all these teams, that is the goal. And for eliminations for the Rush, you know, we want the fight where the Rush was fighting. And even with 3 men apiece, these players are that lethal. They know what they do. They know their ways. They know what kind of fight they want. And that's why they're winning those fights easily. Look at how they played against the Excess. And in this game, were able to clutch it out against the H. Those are the Horn aggressors. Yeah, the whole legends. HL. Aggressor was one of the players who was eliminated fast from that team. Clash Goals having quite some terrible games. I think might come about due to the rotations that the Clash Goals are making. They are not making those perfect rotations. Whatever rotation that they are making, most of the times are finding themselves either clashing with the squad or outside of zone. So they have to find something new. If they are to win at least a game, they have to change how they are approaching the zone. And that's quite a shift of zone towards the San Martin area. Asena del Patron only Sienda in the play zone. San Martin is still well in range for the BPX. They have the compound rushes post taking that. Ridge, we have the Colmies, northern part. But there's a team that have been watching out for the Doors. Dead Doors taking that northern approach. As they are fighting against the Call Me. William is down, almost called back to the lobby. Call Me Immortal, still not yet immortal because he will be receiving quite a push from the Dead Doors. They're trying to make the rotation as they're trying to make the strikes come from every single angle. And the push is here. Dead Doors full send. They want to full send. They Call Me team back to the lobby. Was very, very low. Still made the push. Call Me down. The Immortal, the final man remaining Immortal. Will you be able to be that Immortal? Trying to cook up that nade. But the leg shaking. The man is afraid. But afraid of no one. Dosema. Immortal. A one-man army. I got the revive. So it's a 2v3 situation. It's a 2v4 because the Dead Those, their full squad is coming in. Full send. Call Me legal. I just got a knock and legal is the final player remaining. Immortal, not immortal anymore. Just like a mortal. Are taken down by illness, but not just the ordinary illness that we know of. This is pain in the back. This is pain. That player has something to be thinking about. Call me. Called indeed. Call me. No. We are not calling you because you've already been called. Called back to the lobby where you will reign supreme. You know, Immortal was good, but the goals just... the wins were not on their end. Execute on the other end, eliminated. They fought a good fight. Although they got there for eliminations, they have not been able to even get to the top 10. And with 9 teams remaining, it's getting hotter from every angle. 20 seconds for the zone to close with 27 players in the safe zone. And the BPF, they have the upper hand. It's just crazy. But the full send from the Dead Those was the one that inflicted quite some damage on the Call Me. You know, they've had some good fights, but that was one of the hardest fights ever, as Relentless are still trying to get back to the game. They've not been that confident when it comes to those push IGLs also. They are good, they have good players, but they are not yet there. And as you can see, they're Relentless, eliminated quite fast. How does that even happen? That was quite fast. And Amashikalu, the one. AP gone. 4 pockets full. Also another team that is trying to get a footing. 4PF has been one of the most dominant. As I was saying, it was quite dominant. But right now, they are just dominating the lobby, which is not it. 4PFs, what is happening to you? 4PFs, what needs to change? Did someone get a girlfriend? But you know, it's just for them to answer this. As the Rush Esports, they are moving from side to side, from angle to angle, from position to zone. Brutal Cycles have been holding the compound. They know they have the compound to themselves, but the Dead Those, they have some other opinion because they want to flash out the BPX. Trying to smoke up that area with nades flying. BPX have to be careful because the Dead Those are not joking. They want a dose of action and they want the BPX. Brutal Psychos, guess what? We are the maniacs. That's what the Dead Those Esports is telling the BPX. The 5SW Esports Keister Still trying to hold the ridge as nades are flying towards the dead. Those glitch almost eliminated. And Butcher Cycles, they are not letting this fight just fly by. They have the action. BPX Vaughn in an exchange and does get Glixie. But they will not be going full send because that parties will be flying in every single angle from every single place as glitch is very, very low. The zone shifting, the zone crashing and moving towards that central place. And I think this is the most perfect zone that I'm seeing. Look at how the zone just shifted. Central with just 6 teams remaining. Brutal Cycles, still brutal, taking down the dead those. With William out, with those Sema down, Glitch and Glixie, they have to do themselves. Glixie almost eliminated. The strikes are becoming hot. And oh my goodness! Not expected that, but that was terrific from the go. One nade, 2 finishes. And the dead those just got the dose of action from the Rush Esports as they are trying to clean that chicken dinner, but the ball is down. They need to get the revive. But unfortunately, Jogo will not be revived. But the IGLs, only 1 player remaining. But what a shot, what a nade from Jogo. I was not expecting that. I didn't even know that they were cooking a nade. I just saw carnage erupt. Proxima was saying that shotguns are overrated. They are not overrated. Shotguns are the meta. You know, we have overrated and we have the meta. That's why the esports players, they use the shotguns. Shotguns are not overrated. You need to understand that. What is overrated is, what can I say? The P90. The P90 is so overrated. You will lose a lot of fights with the P90 to the shotgun. Between the P90 and the shotgun, I know I miss a lot of shots, but I need that one shot, one finish. If I have the one shot, one finish, that is an advantage. But the P90, you find most of the times, if you don't connect your shots, you are cooked. But for the shotgun, let's say you take the S12K, that is the absolute meta. You can spam those shots, and let me tell you, the moment you start reloading the shotgun, players and enemies, all of them, even your teammates, they start having that fear. You know, there's that confidence when it comes to a shotgun. All the players with shotguns, they are, most of the times, they are very, very confident because they know they can take the fights. And BPX, quite a nade and 2 eliminations. The Rush team eliminated with 1 nade. And today, I think we've had a lot of nade eliminations right now than in all the other games. And this is the final bout, a 4v4. And the BPX versus the 5SW. And as always say, this is Russian relay, but these are 4v4. And the brutal Psycho Vaughn trying to survive it all. Edox is back on his feet with 6 eliminations. BPX, they have the highest chance of winning the game. 5SW, we've not even seen them in the top 1, top 2, top 3, but this game, they've been confident enough, they've been pushy enough to make it to that final stretch, and the time is ticking, and low-key is down. Abdaka, not abducted, Mashikal, he has to show us that the 5SW deserve to be in the PMNC, but the BPX, they have questions that need answers. And the answers are coming from that 5SW. The BPX are holding positions from the right, trying to make those clapbacks. And BPX won another knock. And they have the advantage from a 4v4 to a 4v2 situation. And they are low. Domination by Vaughn. Getting eliminations, every single angle taken into account. And this is just it, the moment of class that we have all been waiting for, as the BPX are trying to clean their first chicken dinner of the day. They've been confident enough, and they have to maintain it because Viper was almost eliminated. But look at those nades flying with only 1 player remaining. Oh my word, chicken dinner. And it's happening again for the BPX. That is the love of a final game sensation. And it's bottling up at the top and the table. The tides are changing towards the BPX end. That was terrific. And from the blink of despair, elation, and from the catastrophe, catabolic joy. That is the stuff of stellar champions. And that's why the brutal cycles are always a sensation to watch, to be part of. These guys, they came for the chicken and they got some tasty, sweet chicken dinner. That was a good game for the BPX. They won it. And for the man of the hour, look at the BPX Von. 4 eliminations. We have the BPX. We called him Steve. So this is the BPX Steve with the 4 eliminations. Viper 2 and Edox. He was there. Yeah, Edox was there. That is a very, very big and taunting donut. But you know, it's a team game. Yeah, don't ask how he got the chicken dinner. Just ask me who got the chicken dinner, because it is us. It's a team battle, and our team just won. For the head-to-head, the BPX versus the Rush, 10 eliminations for the BPX, 8 for the Rush Esports. So the BPX, they clean sweep at that elimination stretch. For the total damage, BPX inflicting a lot of damage with close to 2,000 total damage, 7 total knocks. BPX have been cooking. BPX, they saw the opportunity to shine. They saw it all and they did that awesome stuff. For the match MVP, none other than the BPX Von with the 4 eliminations and 4 total knocks. That was incredible. Close to 800 damage, 703 damage. That was quite specific for the BPX Von. But that need to the dead dose, that was what set the pace for the BPX. You know, eliminate the top dog, you become the top dog. And that's what the BPX did. The BPX Von, top player of this game number 4. And with 1 game remaining, I don't even know who will be winning these. Rush Jogo with the most eliminations, 6. You have the BPX T with the 4 eliminations. AP Goat Naruto. He got the 2 on the AP gone. He didn't just go. At least he got the 2 eliminations for the game number 4. Those are your top players. Smell the heat and smell the game as they make it very, very hot in all aspects. And for the game, Brutal Cycles, they got the 10 eliminations and the 10 placement points. That made it 20 points for their game. Quite a successful game. We have the Rush Esports with the 5 placement and the 8 eliminations, also quite good. But it's so funny because the Rush Esports, the top player had 6 eliminations, but they have a total of 8 eliminations in that game. So that was a one-man show. Clutch Gods not clutching anything. One Take Esports not taking anything. NGX, NG out. Call me. Call back. Horn Legends. And their horns cut wide. Not that horny at the moment. Rescue Esports, no. Rescued. Relentless, not enough. Not relentless enough. Execute, not executing at all. But you know, they got the 4 eliminations, but they were able to get some points in that game. You know, that's a GG's. That's a GG's. Looking at how they played the first game and the final game, these guys have been improving. For the overall top players, not changing. Those glitch with the dose of action, 17 eliminations. Those glixy with 11 eliminations. Dynamo, not dying a lot, but making them die even more. That is Dynamo. Crazy. 11 eliminations for Dynamo. Rush Arnie with the 9 and Dose Sema with the 10. So it's quite funny because Arnie, towards the second game, he had 8 eliminations. But for the third game, fourth game, Arnie only averaged 1 elimination. But you know, game is game. And as I always say, everyone is game. Sweet Chicken Dinner came, and that changed the tides for the top 3. Because Brutal Cycles just got the top 3 at the moment. You know, 20 points. They were 25, not even seen in the top 5. But that made an impact with 45 points. Take them to the third place. Dead those still maintaining with only 8 points. They got the 68. We have the Rush Esports rushing up and out with the 47, but they are very, very close. You're looking at the gap between the number 2 and the number 3. You know, Brutal Cycles were the ones that eliminated the Rush Esports with a perfect need from the BPX, Steve, and Von. Only 2 points separates the two and three. But looking at the number four, that is the Horn Legends, the 37, One Take Esports, the 35. I don't think. I think it is still interchangeable from the number one to the number five. That table is still interchangeable. And for the men that are leading are from the bottom, 4 pockets full with only 4 eliminations. So their pockets are full of 1-1-1. And I don't know, but we need a motivator. We need a counselor to check up on some few guys because the 4 pockets full. With that number 16, we have the in-game leaders. With that number 7, call me. That has not been the game of a lifetime. That has not been the game that these guys have been hoping to get and even comprehend. That was the fourth game. We played the game number one take. Game number two, we had the one take. We had the Horn Legends. Game number three, we got. I don't even remember, but the game number four, the thing that I know is the BPX. They took that win. Someone please remind me who took the game number three, because that would be quite insane. Yeah, thank you so much for the game number one, Rondo. We had the one take. Game number two, we had the Horn Legends. Game number three, Dead Those. Game number four, that is the BPX. Now with only one game remaining, which is the game that we've always been waiting for, the final game of a tournament, and these will set the pace for the champions seat. Will Dead Those be able to hold on that number one, or with the BPX, with the Horn Legends, be able to make a remontada, a clutch, and ultimately take that win home? And that will just be answered in a few seconds. So, guys, don't change the dial. Lock in and lock yourselves in that room, because we are not leaving until we crown a new champion. See you in just a few seconds. Welcome back. I wanted to see me very well because I am here for the final game. This is the game that we've all been waiting for, and hopefully, we'll be able to crown the champion today. We've had the first game, second game, third game, fourth game. Right now, this is the fifth and final game for the stretch, preparing for the PMNC Kenya tomorrow. It's a final showdown, and this is what we are doing. And thank you so much to Dead Those. Thank you so much for the production, Medical Esports, and PTK Africa for these wonderful stream. As we continue with these games, don't forget, give the stream a like. And that plane path is not that clean. Having plane paths that cut across the bottom of the map, that's the worst, because most of the time you'll find this safe zone shifting towards the Stalba area or Savani, but never to Zaki. And I don't understand why. It would be magic if the play zone sticks to Sosnovka military base, but that would be very, very hard, because most of the times the zone will shift towards Stalba, Savani, if the plane cuts across that lower end. And I was right, you see. Never towards Zaki, always towards Stalba, always towards Savani. This is years of experience. I know someone in the chat called Madara was doubting my words, but you know what? That was one correct prediction, as these teams will be looking to secure the play zone as early as they can and as fast, because this final game, with already 16 teams that are ready, teams are already fueled up. They know it's a final game, it's the final stretch, so we have to finish this strong. If we are to get to the number one, we have to do this. And if we have to maintain the number one, we have to bring this action. And already those Glitch, the Dead Those, they are suffering that defeat. But it's a 1-1 as Glitch is down. And the one take, they are taking the fighters. Urek, oh my word! Whoever will be dominating these, if the Dead Those loses this fight, these will be quite a gap made for them. This will be an open opportunity for the BPX, an open opportunity for the Rush Esports. But the Dead Those are still maintaining their cool. Dead Those, oh my word! They make the strike and they do get the knock. But you know what? One Take Esports is still in these. It's a 2v2 right now. Very, very even. And Dead Those, William down he goes. And this is the final player. Oh my word, look at how they're moving. If he will be surviving these, if he will be clutching these will be Glixie's moment. But Glixie bringing the glitter. Oh my word, if he can do this, this man will be the GOAT. Glixie with the double barrel as a one man, fighting for his teammates, fighting for his life. And the 3 players down is getting the dust. And the one Take Esports, a 1v1. Glixie versus Mbuzi, a 1 hold 1 winner. Will Mbuzi be able to be the GOAT, or will Glixie be able to glitter around and take this win home? Mbuzi confident, trying to heal up. He has the medkits, he has the loot. Glitch also has that loot. He's trying to get Mbuzi. And Mbuzi want to get Woozy. Glix, Mbuzi, 1v1, all of them are just holding, waiting for that angle to get the knock. Bambuzi not pushing, he knows. He just has to set his ground and get those eliminations as he is getting pushed. Don't wait. And Mbuzi goes for the knock, goes for the push, and oh my word! Glixie! Oh my goodness! That was a fantastic shot, and Mbuzi just learned a lesson about the lobby. We have a new GOAT in town, Glixie, becoming the new GOAT as Mbuzi out and woozing out the blood in his veins. The NGX taking Miltup, but still not having the power. NGX Hakim White Strike and NGX Aqua amekuwa. That joke only Kenyans will understand, or if you understand Swahili. But you know what? Let's just continue the action, because this is Nai Sato, one of the guys that have been getting knocks very, very early in the game, as Hakim is trying to set his pace. He's trying to get Sato MS is going to Sato, trying to get the revive, of which he is able to. So Hakim has to make the push. But first he has to find the confidence. Yeah, he got the knock, 2 knocks. Just find the confidence, make the push as early as you can. I don't know what he's doing, but he just wasted a lot of time. You have to think. You have to use it. IQ matters, because at that end, you have the upper hand. The only thing remaining is for you to just go for the push. Hakim, he just needs the confidence, and he got the confidence. He got the 2 eliminations, and he's able to save his team. Execute unavailable at the moment. With unavailable, the final player remaining most of the times unavailable. This has been the key man for the team Execute, surviving most of the times, trying to cook up those nades. But call me, they have to be careful, because that rock might be their death ground, and that might be a knock. Oh my word, the knock not registered. Trying to molly the area, but they have approached him from one angle, and he goes for the push, but unfortunately pushing back to the lobby. Confident in terms of push, and also confidence in terms of going back to the lobby, as Rescue Esports on this other end, they are dominating relentlessly out of the game. And it's quite early, and already 4 teams have been eliminated. Excess Power out, Antec Esports out, CG3 out, Execute out, Relentless out. And only have a few players to set the record straight, as Alphabase is pushing towards the Rescue Esports. They know if we can take this team and get those eliminations, the tides will be changing. And the Rushiano set to put the Rescue Esports on the map, but Rushiano rushed back to the lobby. Aggressors from the Horn Legends are trying to get the third party. They are here in that fight, very, very heated in all aspects, trying to creep the road, trying to move very, very softly, as AP Mike is trying to dominate these Rescue Esports team from every single angle, from every single rotation. Rescue Esports getting their battles, getting the fight in, but Rescue. They need rescuing again. How they're losing this fight, if this is how they'll be making their calls, these will be trouble on their end, as Aggressor, the final player surviving from the Horn Legend, is trying to get Naruto, but a nade for a nade. But his nade was the one that connected. The third party successful, but he has to be wary of Mike, because Mike is watching. Mike is there. AP is also there. Aggressor almost aggressed, down, repressed. The action becoming very, very hard, trying to smoke up, but they know he is alone. They know that he does not have the aid, so just need to take those clean strikes. They just need to push as a team, full send and full take him to the game. The lobby not looking easy. He goes for the dust, and he does get the dust, but unfortunately that dust just cost him his life. He reduced the numbers for the Alpha, but he gained 1. 4 PFs, 27 players remaining. With this zone at this stage, I think all these players, they know that they are at the last zone. They are at the last game. They are at the last strike. That's why they're trying their all. Yeah, Meshanki is saying that he could have joined these games. Is the way they don't have bots. Yeah, don't worry, Meshanki. If you join, you will be the bot. Yeah, but Meshanki, an aspiring esports player, still trying his best to improve when it comes to the game sense, the gameplay. Hopefully he'll be able to become one. But it's all about practice. It's all about investing. It's never easy. But when time comes, when your dream calls, you have to answer. As the Rush Esports, they have that needed advantage. They have the numbers. If they can be able to clinch some eliminations right now, they'll be maintaining that number 2, or evenly get to that number 1 position, as those is still in the game. They have 4 eliminations, more eliminations than the Rush Esports, with only 26 players remaining. Will they be able to get double numbers? Can they be able to clinch a chicken? A lot of questions asked, but very little few answers, as the zone will be taking a shift towards that northern part of Erangel. Rozok has been a very critical area. but no team has been able to utilize that Rozok area. Most of them pushing towards that shooting range. In shooting area, NGX Kelly got one elimination. The NGX joined as a duo, but this duo, do they need a do-over? Or can they be able to take the man, Mike, who has the 2 eliminations? Alphabet AP down on his knees. Don't think that man is praying. No, that man is begging for mercy. But guess what? The NGX, the only mercy they know is a lady, and the lady is not here. How can you beg for someone that is not here? The whoopings are becoming too many. They're becoming too much, too frequent. The 5SW, they would have won the Miramar game, although I think their position was a bit too far compromised. That's why they lost the fight to the BPX, but they still have a second chance of winning the chicken with only 25 players remaining. Their time of reckoning has come. Their time of reign is here. And the 4 pockets full, not even able to win one single fight. They are on the limelight. They're looking for the spotlight. 4 PFs, nothing, still nothing in sight, as they are watching all around, trying to pick these players. And Savani, one of the hottest places. By the way, if you're an esports player or an aspiring esports player, this is one of the key drops for these teams. You know, try to take Savani. It has a lot of loot. It has a lot of space, so you can try to move around. And we have, are they 2 vehicles? Yeah, we normally have like 2 vehicles, one on the southern side and one towards the entry to Savani. So Savani is quite a good spot for these teams. I think that's why most of the times you'll find them land at these locations and trying to secure this place. Most of the times you'll find 2, 3 teams, one team if they're lucky enough. But whenever you find 2, 3 teams, the fight that is there, that is like World War 3. And just to give a big shout out to all the guys that are in the chats, we have Honcho, yeah, SR Queen, we have Meshanki, yeah, Edukariz, also welcome as Duncan and Hussein. We have the FR254, Simon Masharia, also making an appearance in the chats. Don't forget, let's keep on pushing. You can also support the stream via the super chats and the super stickers as we usher out the Alphabet Esports back to the lobby. Quite a sad day for the Alphabets, as they have not been able to set base in any of these maps. You know, they've been able to get eliminations, but not even a single win. And this is the game number 5, the last game of the evening. It's looking nice, crazy. There's those GENRA final showdown. And this is that game number 5, as teams are trying to clinch that Savani area. BPX at the center of it all, central towards that Savani. But you know, Rush is there. You're happy to be watching out. You have the IGLs, and that is quite a shift of the play zone. And I think the 4 PFs will be quite relieved that the zone is coming to their end, but not for the Call Me and the NGX, as they are approaching that zone from the southern part. Savani being very, very key, a tactical position if you are to win fights, but also a hot position if you are trying to defend it. It's anyone's game, and anyone here is game. Brutal Cycles, they need to win this. If they can be able to win another game, let alone not just win it, let's say they try to get some more eliminations, they have more chances of getting that number 3. You know, it's this game, I think at the moment, is between the BPX and the Rush Esports. These are the 2 teams that are looking to get that number 1. If they can all be able, let's say, get that chicken dinner and ultimately get those points. Look at this play. Oh my word, goal like BPX. Edox giving Hakim something to think about, and Hakim is down on his knees, praying, joking around, but not looking towards that Brutal Cycle's end. And they need to secure that elimination. But the BPX are still holding. They know they can't go try to secure it because the NGX player might have a lot of company. But Akim eliminated. Kelly did get the BPX. Steve, and they know that he does not have the numbers, and they're trying to go to his aid. NGX Kelly has to be very, very careful because these BPX team, motivated with the pain that they have been seeing in the previous games, activated that God mode, activated that strike mode. A BPX and GX Kelly with the UMP, and Kelly, oh my word, taking that elimination in style. And the BPX are still in the game. They are still in the fight with 2 eliminations already. This is the final stretch for these teams with only 7 teams remaining there right now and only 2 placement points. The Rush team quite confident. IGS are also looking for a chicken dinner. It's getting hot, man. That is some 3 headshot strike Rush Jogo. That was incredible. Jogo was annihilated. Triple headshots to triple dose him back to the lobby, and they are making that full send. Rush Esports have to be careful, or the IGL Kido is down. Full man, full force IGLs with a very, very wrong strike. How do they even lose such a fight? They had the advantage, but the IGLs, they are out. What was that call, IGL? What was that? They had the advantage, and then suddenly they had a 0 advantage. Disadvantage was very paramount for them. But how the Rush Esports were able to take on the fight and take it very, very well, I just don't know. But you know what? It's the final game, and expect anything, even magic. I don't believe in magic, but you know what? That was magic. Final game stretch. The zone will be stretching towards the... Where is it going? Central position. Sarvani still in the crosshairs, and all these teams, they are in the play zone except for the Dose team, and they call me. But who are you calling when you are getting troubled? This is the final one. They have to do their all. 6 teams remaining, but only one to take that chicken. Dose 1 player. BPX 4 players. Call me 2 players. 3 from the 5 SWs and the 4 PFs with 4 players. Is this going to be the game where the 4 PFs will be able to show us what they used to do a long time ago? Or will this just be a bye-bye for them? As Immortal is trying to push, Glixi is there. I don't know what he was doing. That is quite a very, very not good change. What is Legal doing? What was he doing? Where was he going? Call me. What was that? And his spirit is broken. That man, that knockout. Look at that knockout. Look at that team. Call me. Bewildered, abused by one man. But we're not going to talk about that much. Call me. That was bogus. That was not it. But you know what? Game is game. And Glixi was able to come back, even as a one-man army. He was able to secure the elimination. Glixi, terrific for eliminations. But unfortunately, Rush Army was there. I think he was pushed by the Rush Esports. They took advantage because there were too many, and they took him back to the lobby. But you know, he fought a good fight, and just a moment of silence for the man that just dominated the Call Me. They made a wrong move. They made a wrong call. They made the game easy. But you know what? Game is game, and anyone is game. And the game is looking far much better for some teams, with BPX still holding that full squad, Rush with the full squad, the IGL with... They're out. Oh, sorry. I forgot about the IGLs. 4 PFs. Oh, What is wrong with the 4PFs? How are they losing fights like this? The 4PFs, they've been holding Savani for the longest. They've been here even before other players have been here. But they are still losing fights. They are still not able to get back to the game, not even getting a single knock, but as a good knock. They're trying to prove me wrong. He got a good knock, but the 4PFs, look at the way they're getting abused, bewildered. They are getting turned into ashes, but that is a comeback for the 4PFs as they take the 5SW back to the lobby with only 3 teams remaining. And the numbers stacked towards the BPX Rush Esports favor. And it's anyone's game. Rush Esports already with 5 eliminations, clean strikes, clean sprays. As TGLTN is cruising through, trying to gather as much info as possible, trying to communicate the information to the players. As the 4PFs are only 2 man less and 2 man in the game. Rush, Arnie, all of them are trying to get to the best spots in the play zone and then ultimately try to clutch it out to secure that chicken dinner. But who will it be? Write in the comment section. Is it the BPX? Is it the Rush Esports? Or is it the 4PFs? Final game. Final stretch. Whoever will be winning this fight between the BPX and the Rush Esports, they will be making to that number 2 and ultimately the number 1. A number stacked. They have it all. BPX Rush Esports. Final stretch. Get it on. Just waiting for that zone to close, because once the zone closes, that is when the real action is coming through. It's all about smart plays. It's all about that parties at the moment. It's all about who wants it more. And the BPX, yeah, in a very, very heated fight. That is the Rush team, and the 4 pockets full out of the game. Yeah, oh my word, as the Rush TGLTN is trying to come back to the game. The Rush Esports Pasta eliminated. They lost a player, and the numbers towards the BPX. BPX, they have to utilize this. They have it all. They know it's a 4v3. They know that they have the numbers. They know that they have the position. They know that the entirety of zone is towards their end. But the Rush Jogo is someone to be watching out for, as the BPX are trying to clinch most parts of the zone. BPX Viper trying to move around, but he's quite slow when it comes to those rotations. Rush Esports sticking together because they know, stick together and you win the game together. And the game is becoming so hot as Arnie is trying to stretch this out. They're trying to get that 1 man apiece. They want to be even with the BPX, but the BPX, they are able to make the rotation, and back to the vehicles they go. And tension building as all the players are trying with bullets flying every single place. And this might be it. The vehicle's very, very damaged. Rush Esports, are you going to get the chicken? BPX, are you going to get the chicken? Circle closes in just a few seconds. But to whose advantage will it be? Everyone trying to move around, trying to get information, trying to get to the safe spots. Savani was one of the places that has seen a lot of bodies, with a lot of story, with a very, very big story to tell. Chaotic stories, painful stories. BPX are moving around. They are trying to get this Rush team. They are trying to get to know where this team is hiding. And Rush is just holding. BPX almost lost a player, with Steve on the receiving end of the Rush Esports. And Jogo, Von, Viper, Steve, Edox, Arnie. This is it. Whoever has the most utility will be winning the game. Whoever has that critical strike, it all needs 1 strike and it will all be erupting. Jogo almost took Steve. I don't know what is happening to Steve. He's been the person that has been receiving all the shots as the BPX are trying to secure a very, very good spot into the play zone, with everything stacked towards the end. This is getting crazy. This is getting awesome. This is getting insane. As the brutal cycles are trying to creep around with no smokes, they are just trying to smoke in 8 nades. The brutal Steve has 8 nades, insane, with 2 mollies as he trying to get to the rush to go, trying to move around towards that drop spot. Circle will be closing, and these might be the final fight. So lock in, strap in. This is it. In 15 seconds, these will all be unfolding as everyone wants that chicken dinner. They want the points. Who wants it more? Chicken dinner to the Rush team or chicken dinner to the BPX side? A moment of silence before the fight erupts as Rush Jogo almost rushed back to the lobby. And the new circle coming in just a few seconds. Rush Jogo is down, and the BPX, they have the upper hand, and he takes down Edox. And VPX Viper trying to make that push. Viper is down, and the Rush team is a 2v2 situation. Who will get the knock? And Arnie, the final player, 13 years of age, not a teenage anymore. But this is it. Final stage for Arnie. Will he be able to shake off this PPX team? And that's a good strike. Arnie very, very low, trying to lie around. But Arnie receiving strikes from every angle. Oh my words, Arno's in the vehicle, and they able to get that strike. Brutal cycles. One of the greats. No wonder this team is just a marvel to watch. Brilliant. Just brilliant. A mark of a man. An instinctive reaction. One to take, one to hit, bang, bang. Technically superb and visionary to have that ability and the audacity just to try it. Few in the world could do that. Fewer would even dare to do it. But what a game. Brutal Psychos taking a win home. And a win in that game. Second chicken dinner in a row. Brutal Psychos setting the pace of the game and winning it all for their team. And aside, that was what killed Arnie. Arnie was confident, but that was not enough. Arnie was brave, but that was not enough. Rush was there, but that was not enough. What was enough was the rush from the BPX. And that was what escapaded everything. And a GG's. Winner, winner. Chicken dinner. Brutal. Psychos. Yo, that was one heck of a game. That was one match that was quite insane. Didn't expect things to transpire like that, but winner chicken dinner, and the BPX won with the one elimination. We had the BPX Steve with the 2 eliminations. Viper 0. That's a very, very big donut. You cannot ignore it. I was trying to ignore that 0, but you cannot ignore it. And finally, BPX Edox with the 2 eliminations. But even though you might have a donut, that chicken dinner is the most important thing. And they were able to deliver. Every single shot accounted for by the BPX, getting knocked from end to end. But they just showed who is boss for the head-to-head. The two teams that dominated the most, Rush Esports and the BPX. The BPX only had 5 eliminations, so I think this game might be even. Rush Esports 9 eliminations, although they didn't get the chicken, they had the most eliminations. BPX with the 5. I think this table is starting to look very, very interesting. Now, this is very interesting. BPX, even though they didn't get the chicken, they were able to crash around and... Bro, no, Rush, they didn't get the chicken, but they did good. Dead those Glizzy with the most eliminations for... Even though he was the one-man army, he got the 1v2, but it's the Call Me squad. They called me, they were given something to think about. Food for thought. But Glixi GG's being the match MVP today. That was a glorious game. Glorious moments for these teams today. That was the game number 5, Game number 1, we saw it. Game number 2, game number 3, game number 4. BPX took it. And for the game number 5, they still took that win. For the top players, Glixi with the most eliminations, 4, and the 2 assists. Yeah, the NGX Kelly, 3 eliminations. Although the NGX, they played as a 2-man. So Kelly getting 3 eliminations was quite splendid. We have Mashikal with the 4 eliminations also. Rashani with the 2 eliminations. And Pastor, he passed across a message and got the 3 eliminations. GG's. That was good. That was good. The top players. I think Lixi might be going for that top player of the evening. And guys, this is how it is. For the number 3, none other than the brutal Psychos with 2 winner chicken dinners, 33 eliminations. They got total of 60 points. That's why I was telling you that we're going to have like quite a drama when it comes to that final table. And as you can see, Brutal Psychos, although they got the chicken, Rush Esports, they got the most points, and Brutal Psychos, GG's, even though they got the number 3, that was quite splendid. Quite a comeback in the final 2 games with 2 chicken dinners. These guys, although they didn't get that win, the chicken, that championship, they got to set a message. They put a message across and they got the number 3. And for our numbers 2, runners up, that is the Rush Esports. 62 points. Only 2 points separated them and the Brutal Cycles. They had 23 placements and 39 eliminations. So that explains to you how lethal things are. So insane and terrific. You know, Rush Esports, judges, taking the number 2. And I guess we all know how it is going. For the number 1. For the number 1. None other than the day those esports in the dose of action. Both for the eliminations, both for the placement, these guys, they went it all. They went all in with the 53 eliminations, 24 placement points. You know, they got the chicken and they got the most eliminations. So this team, quite formed, quite calm, 77 total points. No way any team was catching up. But GG's, man, you know, that's how we do it. The game number 5, even though one person remained, he was able to get placement points and the elimination point to set that gap between them and the number 2. And W's in the chat for the dead those as they have done it all. Bro, champions, yet again, PMNC final is tomorrow. And these guys, they just delivered. And for the overall MVP, none other than the Dose Glitch. 17 eliminations, bro. As a one-man army, 17 eliminations is quite crazy. It's quite insane. 17 elims. We had the 15 total knocks, 1,104 total heals. Was crazy for these one-man army. But the dead those, they seem to have taken it all with close to 2,500 total damage. This man has been lethal. Those Glitch, the top player with the 17 elims and the 6 total assists. You had Glixi with the 15 eliminations and the 10 assists. We had the BPX Steve, 11 and the 7 assists. We had Arnie, 11 eliminations, 9 assists. And finally, Dynamo. I think for Dynamo's team, Horn Legends, they lost it in the 2 games. The final 2 games, final Miramar and final Erangel, that was the death of the Horn Legends. They played very, very well in the previous games, but when it came to these final 2 games, that is where they fumbled a lot, and that's why their scores looked like that. But you know, we have to give credit where it's due, with Dead Those taking that number 1 with the 77. We had the Rush Esports taking in second, Brutal Cycles coming in third, Horn Legends coming in fourth with 39 points, you know, with a chicken dinner, bro. Like, that was crazy. One take esports the chicken. So the only team that got to the top 5 without a chicken dinner, that was only Rush Esports. What if they got a chicken dinner? With the tables, would the tables have turned? Is a question that we cannot get the answer right now, because the scores have just been sent, as Rescue Esports with the 24 alpha base are setting the base at the number 8. But looking at the leaders, at the lower end, we have the in-game leaders leading from the bottom. Relentless taking that number 15, 4 pockets full. At least the last game they were able to at least get some points in the elimination on the placement. Excess Power not bringing that excess power. Call me, call back, execute. Yeah, that was not the execute that I really know of, but quite a GG that they came back. Clutch Gods and the NGX Esports. That was the final ranking after the fifth game of the evening. It is insane. 5 matches, 5 chances of winning. We had the game number one, Rondo, where they won Tech Esports. They took the chicken and got 25 total points. The game number two, we went to Erangel, where the Horn Legends, they got that chicken dinner with a total of 20 points. We went to Miramar, the desert, where the dose was inserted by the dead dose and got the 25 total points. We went back there, back again to Miramar, where we had some new chicken dinner winners. BPX, Brutal Cycles, brutal in every way. They got the chicken and a total of 20 points. And for the final game, we had the final fight, boss fight, between the BPX and the Rush Esports happened. They got the chicken and the total was 15 points. They played good, but most of the times, we have to look at how these teams have been performing from the game number one to the final game. The first game, Brutal Cycles were not that perfect. They were not that good, but they found their footing towards the last games. We also had the in-game leaders, though, didn't have a good game, but there's still time to improve. Tomorrow, that's when the PMNC finals will be happening. So all these teams, they have to be ready, both in the thoughts, how they're taking these fights. They just have to practice more. But this is just a pre-event. The main event is coming. For the dead, those they were perfect, crisp. But I think they would have gotten a lot of chicken dinners. But they won the game. At times, it's not about the chicken. Most of the times, it's how about how you take on the fights and what placements you are able to get. They took on the fights and they got the placements, so they balanced, and that's why they are at the top of the table. What are the team? We had some very, very good teams. 4PF, I think they are not there yet. They still need to up the game. They still need to be more active. No, not a bit passive, because they held Savani for as long as we watch. All these teams were coming to Savani. These guys have been there. And imagine relocating someone that was at the same place since the game began. That was quite very, very big mistake for them. In-game leaders, we can't talk about that because they made the push towards the Rush team and got eliminated all at once, which was a wrong call by the IGL. But you know what? This is how games are. At the end of the game, at the end of the day, you will find teams dominating. You will find others getting dominated. But that's the beauty of the game. You cannot dominate in everything. You cannot win every game. Otherwise, if you win every game, that means that is not a competition. That is not hot. We need to see teams losing, winning, and that is the beauty of the game. Winners, losers. We have people smiling at the end of it all, and we have people frowning. But one thing that you need to put in mind is improvement. After a fight, you have to crisscross, you have to reset, learn, try to think, did we improve in that game? That is the kind of mentality. Even though you lost, why did you lose? If we won, how did you win? What do we do for us to be able to maintain this sport and ultimately become the champions whatsoever? All these teams are looking for a chance to get to PMGO Africa, then finally the global stage, PMGO Africa. I'm just wishing them luck as they continue to practice. I'm wishing them all the best, because we really need that strong team from Kenya to represent us in the global stage. And I think we are ready. We are getting there. PMSC, we didn't make it, but right now, PMGO, we are pushing full force. And a very, very big thank you to each and every one of you guys who has been in the comment section. This has been possible because of you. And a big, big salute if you have been able to make it today. If you've liked the stream, thank you so much for your big love and support. And to the production, they have been insane. ensuring that we get to see all the fights as they unravel. Thank you to Medical Esports for making that production possible. To the Dead Those Esports, thank you so much for this wonderful chance to be able to stream the PMNC event, because this has been a hot game. And guys, my name is a PTK Young Blood from PTK Africa. But don't be fooled by that name. I am not the young, but I am the man himself, the man Young Blood. PTK Africa. See you in the next one.